go on to the next section. In the final section of Unit 8, for the Minuch of Surname Danger and Sur Moses Montefiore, the Mishnah in Shvit Perchad Mishnah Zayin says, "Ein v'shtem yirek shel Shvit b'shemen shel Truma, shelo v'yen yudei psul, b'shimon matil." So, if we were talking, previously we were talking about the relationship between the way we treat Shmita fruit and the way we treat Truma fruit, that we treat them kind of similarly in parallel. But the Mishnah says you're not to cook them together. Why are you allowed to cook them together? So there are two ways of reading this. Rabbi Tanura says, there's a halacha by Truma that if the Truma becomes tameh, you have to burn it. Now, so if I mix the Truma fruit with the Shmita fruit, if it will become tameh, I'll have to burn everything. So I'm causing myself to have to burn Shemitah fruit. There's no halacha that ever requires me to burn Shemitah fruit. The only context in which I burn Shemitah fruit is if it's mixed with Truma fruit. So you're not allowed to create that situation. That's the Bartanura. It says the Mishnah Rishon something else. He says like this. It's a very interesting point. We said many times you have the communal kiddush concept of Shemitah fruit, right? So you have your Shemitah fruit. Everyone's supposed to share it together. Now the Kohen takes it home and cooks it with Truma. Not only Kohanim are allowed to eat the Shemitah fruit. Are you allowed to create a situation in which the Shemitah fruit will fundamentally not be available to everyone? Now, the question is also how far would this go? How far would this go? Am I allowed to put Shemitah fruit, Shemitah potatoes into my chalent?
No.
Or maybe chalent.
No, Shemitah potato in your chalent, yes, you take it from the yard, whatever it is, you're allowed.
Yeah, no. My point is, sorry. I didn't mean to. You're right. No, I didn't mean to say chant. I meant I'm allowed to put Shemitah berries in a milchik dish, even though many people in the world will not be allowed to eat the Shemitah berries, right? If I put strawberries on a strawberry shortcake, right?
But why should it be an issue if you are the one who picked it up from your friend's yard and you take it home? It should not be an issue.
Very good. So that's very good. So I agree, and that's the point I was making. On the one hand, once you say this, you might say I'm not allowed to make the Shemitah fruit milchik because then anyone fleishik isn't allowed to eat it, right? Now the Mishnah Rishona seems to say if you create it, if you're not allowed to make such a stew, you would have both Truma and Shemitah fruit together, because then Israelites, those who are not Anim, would not be allowed to eat the stew. Is that really a problem? So you'll see the Yerushalmi says, Amar B'Yossi, Aliyad means small amounts. He says by Rabbi Yanai, who's a Kohen, says in our house what they used to do is they used to cook small amounts. So what we're saying is this: if you cook a very large amount, so you're disqualifying a lot of the fruit for a lot of people. And that's a problem. But if you cook small amounts and eat, that's fine, because what do you expect the Kohanim to do? It's just like Chaim was saying, it's the Kohanim. They want to eat this. Is that a problem? I want to make a strawberry shortcake. We're all eating it here. Some people in the world are fleishik, so what? But we're eating the strawberry shortcake. Who cares, right? That's basically what the Yerushalmi is saying. We won't, even if we accept this idea, we don't take it too far, right? Says Shlomo Zalman, so this is an astonishing what's it called? Extrapolation. That's what I'm looking for. An astonishing extrapolation. The way it works is like this. Why, if I have a tree in my garden, I have a vine in my garden, why do I have to mafkir this vine? Because everyone has the rights to this vine. Fair enough. Okay. Now, let's say, for argument's sake, let's say I'm a Kohen. I'm going to take these berries, I'll take them home and mix them with my truma. Am I allowed to do that? He says, well, that depends. If it's a very large dish, I'm not allowed to do it. Why? Because I'm disqualifying from a lot of people. But if it's only a small amount that only my family of Kohanim are going to eat, no problem. Right. So we see there's no problem of holding back, of causing others to be unable, causing the Shemitah fruit to be unavailable to people, as long as it's what my family will use. So now I have another ramification. Let's say, and we do have a passion fruit bush in our backyard, but I see the amount of fruit that it's producing, of the passion fruit it's producing, will only be enough for my family. So says Shlomo Zalman, you don't need to mafkir that tree or that vine, that bush, whatever it is. If I have a tree, I have an apple tree, and I have lots of fruit on it. So I'm not going to eat all the fruit. So I have to allow access to everyone. But if it's only a small amount that only we're going to eat, there's no problem with blocking everyone else's access. Access to it. Well, how do I know that? How do I know that? From this Gemara. Since the Gemara says there's no problem disqualifying a small amount, Mimele means that there's no problem holding everyone else back from the Shemitah fruit as long as I utilize it well for myself and for my family.
But hold a second. The difference is you said one time that he cooks it together or he mixes it together.
Correct.
So this is one small portion, a portion. Could be lasting for a day or 2 or 3.
Okay.
But when you're talking about your apple tree,
right,
it's for a season. It's not for a day or 2 or 3. It's for a season. A season is 2-3 months. Isn't the difference?
Correct. I agree, and I think the point would be at any given moment. Would this be at any given moment in that period? Is there more fruit than I'm going to utilize myself?
Okay.
I agree. That would be the litmus test, right? We have to utilize that amount correctly over that period of time, right? Now, the Ridvaz, you want to say something? No. The Ridvaz.
Yeah, I also think there's a difference because the being mafkir of the fruit is like a positive commandment to be mafkir your fruit, whereas this scenario of don't cook something in a way that doesn't make it accessible to everybody is more from the perspective of that we shouldn't be wasting something.
Correct.
Which is permissible.
Right. So that's I agree. That's a tremendous leap that Shlomo Zalman makes here, right? I agree. The extrapolation here is quite astonishing in that sense. In other words, the way we expect him to think about it is, you have a mitzvah to mafkir everything. Shabbat Hashem, right? Or maybe this week's parsha, right? You have to allow the fruit, you have to allow everyone else to get your fruit. Fair enough, fine. So open up your fields, come ahead, come along, right? Pick whatever you want. Now, I could be the first one to pick if I want, right? I could pick as much as I need, but only after I say, like, fundamentally, this is everyone's. Now I'm going to pick whatever I need. Fair enough, fine. That's very different from saying, I want to make stew for my family. I want to make a strawberry shortcake for my family in the snow. So I'm going to get some strawberries and I'm going to make a strawberry shortcake. So, fleishik people can't eat it, but that's not my problem because I'm eating this with my family, right? It did go that those strawberries did go through the stage at which we allowed everyone to have access to them, and then we took them, as opposed to these apples were never accessible to everyone else. The chidush again, Shlomo Zalman in a few places. This just shows another example mentioned several times, right? That this Rambam, who says the fundamental issue with, right, for example, Shiur Hefsed, right? The issue, why are you not allowed to ruin things? Because of the Kiddush model, not because of the Kedusha model, not because of the Kedusha in them, because everyone's together. But I'm allowed to take my fair share as well, right? We hear Shlomo Zalman in many places, he really does see these things as very intertwined, right? I say, okay, all the apples on this tree are apples that my family is going to eat right now. It's a big chiddush, I agree. There's no difference between that and I brought some strawberries, right? I picked some strawberries, now I'm going to make strawberry shortcake, and now all the fleshy people won't be able to eat them, but so what? It's my family eating it, right? I agree. So that's a very big leap. And we see, it's the amazing relationship Shlomo Zalman sees between these two. The Ridvaz disagrees, and once again, for similar reasons as the reasons we mentioned before. באמת הוא שייך דווקא לגבי תרומה, מה שאין כן בשביעית, משום זה לא שייך מיעוט זמן ומיעוט מקום, אלא דבר שיש מצוות עשה באכילתם, כמו תרומה, מעשר שני. אכילת קודשי מסרין על מיעוט זמן, כדי גרסינן בעשרת פסחים, משום דקממת באכילת שלמים. ואילו פסח ליום ולילה, ואילו שלמים לשני ימים ולילה אחד, אז דווקא במקום שהאכילה מצוות עשה. אבל שביעית לא אוהבים מצוות עשה באכילת שביעית. דווקא בא מכלל עשה, כשמפסיד פירות שביעית, לא אוכלה ולא להפסד. Like this. Mitzvot where you have a mitzvah to eat. In the kind of eating in which you have a mitzvah to eat. So you're wasting what there's a mitzvah to eat. But right, you're wasting fundamentally, right? Previously we talked about Rav Zilber's understanding based on the Rambam that there's a fundamental connection, right? A fundamental relationship. You're supposed to eat it as truma. If it's no longer truma, you're eating it not as truma. Here I'm talking about something else. Here I'm talking about if I'm allowed to eat a korban only today and tonight, as opposed to another korban I'm allowed to eat for 2 days. So you have to make sure so you can't mix these. Why? Because even if I happen to finish them all on time, fundamentally I create a situation where I would not be able to utilize the amount of time, the stretch of time that's allotted to me to eat this korban. It says that all these kinds of ideas of mema'et b'achilatan are only relevant when there's a mitzvah to eat them. Shmita, there's no mitzvah to eat. Mimele, it doesn't bother me that fewer people will be allowed to eat them. Once again, it's interesting because the Ridvaz, my understanding is Ridvaz is saying this about taking this in a very, very different direction. Yeah, I'll take this a step back. Mishnah Rishonah says, why are you not allowed to mix the Shemitah fruit with the Truma fruit? Because now fewer people are allowed to eat it. Says the Ridvaz, this whole idea exists only in things where there's a mitzvah to eat. So you say, now fewer opportunities of eating are given. When it comes to Shemitah fruit, it's not a relevant thing because I don't need more opportunities of eating. I just need to not waste. There's no mitzvah to eat. It doesn't bother me that I'm ruining the opportunities of eating. I think the Mishnah Rishonah would say, you're looking at it through the wrong prism. You see, you're saying, have I wasted the Shemitah fruit yet? I'm asking, have you maintained the Kiddush aspect? Have you maintained everyone else's rights to the fruit? The fact that everyone else has right, that seems to be the Mishnah Rishonah's direction. The fact that everyone else has rights to the fruit means that even when I take it home, I have to be careful and not disqualify everyone unless I'm going to make a specific dish and eat it right away. Or my family, Shabbos, whatever. But I have to make it aliyad aliyad. I have to make a small amount. Why? Because this is fundamentally everyone's, even though I have the right to take it home, I have the right to use it at home, it's all good. But in that context, I have to use it correctly, as opposed to causing a situation which it would be disqualified from other people. The Ridvaz says, and that doesn't require a mitzvah, is my point. My point is that what the Mishnah Rishonah says about mema'et achilat shvi'it, the Ridvaz says this is only in Kodshim, this is only with the mitzvah to eat. Mishnah Rishonah says it's not because of the mitzvah, it's because this is communal fruit. So the issue, according to the Ridvaz, the issue is an issue of a mitzvah thing, kedusha thing. The Mishnah Rishonah, it's a matter of it's a communal fruit, and it's a communal fruit. Even after I'm allowed to take it home, I still have to make sure that it is accessible in a certain sense, everyone.